Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, how do I make this smaller? Huh, okay. All right. Let me say hello to a few people before we get started. Let me see who was here first. I like to start off like that. Annie Bullard. Thank you so much for being here first. Now remember, there are no prizes, but you get major street cred. So thank you so much for being here first. Verta Sanchez, thank you for being here. And let me see who else. Nancy Herlock and Lambert Charles. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Nancy. Big Mama. Happy Tuesday to you too. What's going on? I'm stalling while I bring my slides up. Thank you. Thank you. Give me a second here. All right. I had an early appointment today. I'm surprised I'm on this quick, but I did start working on some stuff from last night. Totally slept through the whole thing with the LA Lakers. But anyway, Big Mama says, hello, Baron and Squatties. Happy Tuesday. Well, bring out the media clowns. Kate complying. Meghan by going to the baby factory. Oh, you mean copying, right? Yes, copying and pretending to fold a onesie. I saw that. And let me see, Harry and Meghan attend the LA Lakers game. That sums it up. Well, thank you so much, Big Mama. I'm done. I don't have anything else to do. No, but since I'm here, I'll say a little something. But thank you for being here, Big Mama. Always a pleasure. Let's see. Lydia Washington is here. Okay, let me scroll. Vinny Blair, Joyce Anderson, Deirdre Mankey, Gail Anita 1, 10 is here. Okay, Lola Love. I'm just gonna scroll through, make sure there's no super chat, super stickers. Hey B10 pal, thank you so much for being here. And also, let me see, B10. I think you sent something earlier. Was it a super thanks earlier? Thank you so much for that. I got that. And there's my hugs. Dorothy Ross, thank you so much for the hugs. Aha, wunderbar. That's what I was looking for. Let me get this out the way. Perfection. All right. That's what I was stalling for. Hello, Marcy Foreman. I was going to say Marcy it's Marcy Foreman. I was going to do the back of it forward, something like that. Oh, a little tongue tied today. All right. Emma D. I'm scrolling. Aha! I knew it was something. Esther Hardcastle. Thank you so much for becoming a new member of Royal Sussex. Still a bargain at just $4.99. There are no higher levels of contributions. Although, if you feel like doing something spontaneous here and there, that's always welcome, but not obligated. No obligatory extras unless you choose to. But thank you so much. Hey, Susie Q. Okay, so here's the last one, Brenda Phillips. All right, so having gone through that, oh, thank you, B10 pal. Yeah, I like when I could take my time and just, I'm gonna do another one later, possibly either tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Meghan and Harry is on a roll. Laugh out loud. They're talking about Meghan had surgery on her face. What? To look like Kate? No. No, that is impossible. I mean, who would want to do that to themselves? Woo! Who would want to do that to themselves? Surely they just, or should I say, surely they're just kidding. Yeah, that's what I mean by just. They haven't seen Meghan in months, and now they're mad she's back and glowing as ever. Yeah, well, see, the thing is, it's like I used to say sometimes, Meghan likes to downplay her looks, and I think that's very sweet. If Meghan wanted to do the super glam, she certainly could do it, and she could afford the best of everything possible to achieve that super glam look, or if you will, for lack of a better word, if she wanted to, do a little like kind of go drag with it, do her drag, but she chooses to tone it down. She doesn't have that type of vanity, and I love that. She herself has even said that when she was in grade school, she was kind of like the ugly duckling. And then suddenly she just blossomed. And she's very secure in herself that she doesn't need to show out. And I love that. So thank you so much, Alicia, for your comment. Okay, moving on with it. Is that what you're talking about? I think it is. There she goes, looking ultra glam. All right, so these particular photos were not the greatest, the ones that we initially received. They were not the greatest. But eventually we did get some. They were not the greatest. But I'm sorry about the echo. Eventually we did get some updated photos, and they are fantastic. Well, at least one, and I will show you in just a moment. There is one updated photo, and let me see now. Streaming. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Oh wait, that's not right. Oh yes it is. Yes it is. Okay, so there's that one. And let's move on here. There we go. That's more like it. That's more like it. Nice and clear. It doesn't have that ghostly look to it. Now, I think the funniest thing that I've heard in the past like 24 hours since these photos came out, since that video came out, is that Meghan has a silk press, or even worse. I mean, not okay. No, that wasn't the worst one. Not the silk press. That's cool. They said that Meghan was wearing a wig, or that she had what do you call it? That she had some extensions or something like that. Um, Anyone who understands the texture of black hair, which Megan's hair, I mean, okay, Mariah's hair is very thin. She doesn't have that thick mane like Megan. Megan's hair, as we know, if it rains and she doesn't do any intervention, we know what happens. She said that she turned into, what was it, Krusty the Clown. That's what she referred to her hair when she was a child. So she has amazing hair. And to show you how smart she is, she doesn't over process it. That is so easy to do. That's why her hair looks healthy, looks thick, looks sheen. You can see the sheen and everything because she doesn't over process her hair. You got to give it a chance to rest. And anyone who's a really good hairdresser knows how to help you maintain your hair. Oprah managed to do it for years. There was this whole thing that Oprah had extensions and this and that. No, Oprah said what it took to get her hair the way it was, she wouldn't have been able to do it on her own. It literally took a village. So Megan probably not so much, but still, she gets the best of everything, and well deserved. So I am happy for her. Baron Princess Meghan, I'm sorry, Deirdre Mankey says, Baron Princess Meghan is back at her fighting weight. Baby weight gone. Kate wishes she would look that good. Meghan has a flat iron and great color. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't remember what the treatment was. I think it was some kind of serum or something that she used for her hair, or at least that's what was alleged, or something like that. Um, maybe from her TIG days, but good for her. Good for her. And this is not an everyday look. This is probably, when you think about it, she was probably getting ready for her date night with Harry, and she wanted to look special, do something special with her hair. But the thing is, when she just pulls it back into a bun, I think that is. I mean, look at this. Look at this. How many people can pull that look off? I mean, come on. How many people can do that and look that good and feel that good? How many people can do that? And they're just so jealous. They have so much contempt because of her casual style, her very easy nature, that very fresh look that she has. And that glow just blows a lot of the haters away, and they just cannot stand it. They just can't stand it. And it's not like she's in people's face with it. She's just doing what makes her feel good, not trying to show up anyone. And, you know, TB says, I have no wrinkles. I am older than our princess, the Duchess of Sussex. I take care of my skin and have used sunscreen and limited my time in the sun since I was 17. Her hair is natural. Faux show. It is natural. Faux show. All right. There we go. And I mean, what did I just do? Okay. I'm gonna I mean, look at that. I have somewhat of a youthful hairline, not so much, but this is me over 50. That's me over 50. So, you know, I'm not going to say how much over 50, but that's me over 50, and my hair is so much more gray. But that the one thing that I've always, well, at least people have always said that, they say, "Oh, your skin is so beautiful." Well, they didn't see me when I was a teenager, when I was like so full of acne and everything. I don't do anything special to it, so it's just that melanin, and that's that. So they can't handle it. They cannot handle it. But Meghan is living her best life. Okay. So I am going to go to the next slide. Thank you so much, everyone that's here. Take a look there. Duchess Meghan looks incredible during a surprise appearance for a TED Talk. The Duchess introduced her friend, photographer Misan Harriman. Well, that was a article from Bazaar, and I don't, did they use this photo? I don't think they, maybe they did. Maybe they did. I don't recall. But I think I threw that photo in myself. But yeah, it's a good look. And someone on the Twitter, I wish I would have saved that slide, but I don't think I did. There was a slide of Meghan, of Beyonce, of let's see who else, of Alicia Keys and a few other people with this very same style, this very same look. And the point of the collage of photos was to say, hey, she's not trying to look like anybody in particular. This is like switching from her usual hair in the bun or the messy bun. It's just switching the look up for another look, for a different type of experience, for a night out, date night with her husband. I don't know why that gets so complicated, but for the haters. But that's it. There's nothing nefarious going on. She's not trying to look like anyone. It is a very chic, modern look, and she's just being herself with that modern look. It's a very, I mean, oh God, one, deep breaths, deep breaths. But to try to assign this look to that that lazy Duchess, lazy Princess of Wales person, I think that is just a terrible mistake. Every time they try to compliment Kate or they try to elevate Kate, it's really a backhanded insult. It really is. It really is. You would not want to. Okay, I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm not gonna get all on Kate's case today. Audrey Teschner, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Okay, so thank you. Yes, Valerie Brown says she's stunning. Absolutely. All right, so there it is. Meghan Markle sparks surgery speculation with her new look. She wants to be Kate. And that's in the New York Post. She wants to be Kate. Well, I tell you what, I want to see Kate do this. I want to see Kate do that. I want to see Kate abandon those extensions and do that. And then we can speculate about who's trying to look like whom. So, yeah, do that. Anyway, Kate's not here to defend herself. However, as you know, from time to time, we do reach out to Kensington Palace to get a word.
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, on to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
Also, I'd like to. All right. So anyway, we reached out to the Princess of Wales for comment, and that's what she had to say about the matter. All right, so let's get to the kissing cam. So there it was, Harry and Meghan watching the LA Lakers, and suddenly they realize they are on the Jumbotron. And what I didn't notice about the Jumbotron is if you look at the bottom of this gigantic fixture hanging from the ceiling, you can see on the inside there's also screens that go around the inside of it, as well as the screens on the outside of it. And then there's a ring of spotlights all over it. So they were sitting there minding their business, and all of a sudden, boom, there you go. And so someone near Harry to the other side had told him, "You're supposed to kiss her." And so Harry goes to lean over, and Meghan's like, ah. Meghan's like, nope. And so, that was the end of the possible kiss. Let me see. Let me think about this. Oh, wait. Okay, so that was the Sussexes at the Lakers game. And Harry went to go and lean over for that kiss, but Meg was And then there's some people who say that Harry didn't realize they were on the big screen. And, so I'm not sure if he was reacting to the big screen or if he was just going, I guess, suffering from the power of suggestion to give her a kiss or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. But then Harry looks at the Jumbotron and then he makes that face. And of course, you probably recognize that face. The Queen used to do that all the time. The Queen used to make that face all the time. And so maybe that's kind of like a little Windsor thing where they kind of pull that face or whatever. But Yeah, so very cute. Loved it. And I'm glad they're out living their best life. And it's a good thing that they're not afraid to have fun. They're not afraid of 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 life. They're not afraid to live their life. They're out doing things, and I'm so glad for that, because the last thing I would want for them is to be walled off from the rest of the world. That's not healthy for them. It definitely wouldn't be healthy for the kids. Uh, oh, okay. Let me show you the queen doing that face. Where is it? Where is it? I'm sure you guys will recognize it when you see it. I won't play the whole video, but I'll just show you the picture. There it is. There's that face. Now, you can see it there, and then you can see Harry doing it here. So I think that might be like a little Windsor thing. And of course, when that guy confronted Charles, Charles, why do we have to pay for your parades? Remember that? And Charles kind of did that little Charles Nelson Riley thing and decided to make a break for it. And then the security guys stepped in between the two of them while Charles made fast his escape. So yeah, there you go. Let me see. Okay, Marilyn Farley says, Baron, the media clowning strikes again, as if Meghan would get surgery to look like Kate. That would be a travesty. Meghan is not shallow or foolish. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's just the clowns are out. The clowns are all over the place. Let me see. Pauline Bergio, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Now, there was a photo earlier of William doing a reef laying. Oh, by the way, I love this photo. Look at the guy with the beard, right? And if you look in the background there, what do you see? What do you see? He's doing a selfie. He actually, yeah, he's doing a selfie. And then if you could look all the way back there, take a look to the right, and then look all the way to the center of his photo again, and you can see he realized that the Sussexes were just on the other side of the partition. So, clever guy, he took a photo. Love it. I love that. That is so cool. That is so cool. It is just out. Hey, Shelly L. It is just so amazing that so many of the royalists, the sycophants, they have this idea that here in the United States, that the Sussexes are unpopular, that people don't care for them. Oh, they're not as popular as people think they are. They're not as well received as they believe. You couldn't tell from last night. You could not tell from last night. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. I mean, take a look at that photo. Huh? Huh? Look at that. Look at that. You enjoy it. I love that. It just so happens to say, you enjoy it. There's Harry leaning in, and Meghan's like, nah, 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 nah. Nope, wrong place. That is, I mean, look at the light coming from their face. Look at the big megawatt smile that Meghan has, living her best life. So they decided to try to, how do I put it? Try to create a contrast to Harry enjoying a Lakers game by showing dutiful William doing some work, laying a reef somewhere. I wonder if the same people who think that Harry, who is no longer a working royal, who has stepped back from official royal duty, I wonder if they had that same attitude when William went off skiing back in 2017 and abandoned the Queen for the Commonwealth service, the most important date on the late Queen Elizabeth's calendar. I could think of so many times when William was a no-show. William had the excuse that they have this young family, and that was his excuse to avoid doing official royal duty. And they were depending upon Harry to do it. Well, now Harry has broken free of those shackles of the gilded cage that he lived in, and he's enjoying his life in California. The fruits of his labor. Baron, you are right. People was cheering for them, not booing like William and Waity Katie. Show enough, show enough. There you go. I mean, this must have been a very intense time in the game. Harry's kind of like biting his nails or whatever. And then if you look at Meghan, she's just like, what are you doing? So obviously it was a good game. And the Lakers won, right? So there you go. Now, I believe that they took their crew, they took the Archwell gang out there. Let me see. Meghan, who was born and raised in Los Angeles, enjoyed the Los Angeles Lakers game alongside Harry and their Archwell team. The Lakers won the game 117-111, taking a 3-1 lead in the first round of playoffs against the Grizzlies. And of course, there on the right, you can see, I remember when Harry and Meghan had their farewell lunch for the staff in the UK. We found out she would have pizza parties for them and bring ice cream trucks. Now they're taking Archwell Foundation staff to Lakers games. So there you go. They are very good people to work with, to work for, if you will, whichever the people involved would prefer. Are you all right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that one again. Let me see. B10 says, of course, the British media try to put a negative spin on attempted kiss. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And people who get it. And those who don't, they don't want to get it. They want to hate and conspire to uphold the institution in some ridiculous way. But that's their thing. So I let me see here. Is that the next photo? Oh, by the way, check out Harry with his white sneakers on. Check out Harry with his white sneakers on. You rarely ever see him wearing white shoes, but super casual look for H. This I'm wondering if this is the team that's there. So this is the photo from their what was it, Earth Day. This was a photo from the Earth Day, so I'm wondering if that's some of the Archwell folks. I don't recall them saying where these people come from, but yeah, I couldn't really tell. So maybe not. I don't know, but I think that was a private booth or a private a stand or whatever you call it, luxury box that they rented out for the gang. Like any corporation, you take everyone out. Let me see if the redhead is there. The redhead, yeah, I think that's him. There's the redhead. Yep. So I'm thinking that must be the Archwell crew. So it looks like they spent Earth Day out picking up garbage. Very cool. Very cool. All right. And so in contrast, the only royal family he knows of is Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Celtics coach Joe Missoula was left very unimpressed by Will's and Kate's appearance at game where they were booed and blasted with chants, USA, USA, USA. Now, if you guys have never seen the likes of it, when you go to a sports event here in the U.S., anytime they want to show their contempt, if they want to show their contempt or defiance, they go into chanting USA, USA. And so when they showed the Cambridges at the Celtics game, that is, I'm not saying it's like that New Zealand, what do they call that? A haka, whatever that dance is they do, or that performance. I'm not sure what you call it, but I think it's called a haka. Well, you know how they do that. It's not exactly that, but in spirit, it is very similar. And I don't know if you can see that look that William has on his face. I'm not sure exactly what thoughts he has. I don't know what he's thinking about. One can only guess if there's something to do with um, pulled pork sandwiches, or as he has done before to show his solidarity to the homeless community, he once slept rough with a black man. So I don't know. Maybe he's thinking about his friend back in London that he once slept rough with. That time he slept rough with a black man. So I don't know. Um, okay, okay. Leg says Will and Kate were courtside trying to be seen and were booed. Harry and Meghan were incognito and were spotted and cheered. Who wants the attention? Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. And if I'm right, Will and Kate had a team with them. They could have easily have done the same thing that the Sussexes was able to do, and that is rent out one of those boxes. This wasn't even like a championship game or playoff or anything. It shouldn't have been too hard in advance to rent out a box. So, Legs, as per usual, I am super impressed because you're right. They could have just as easily have taken their team courtside as anyone else. Boy, I tell you. Now, you guys, I don't want to be one to, kind of kick a person when they're down, let alone two people. But let's recall that this event was supposed to be, what did they call it? It was like going to be the Super Bowl, not this game, but their what was it? The Earth Shot was supposed to be like the Super Bowl of environmental events, and that it was going to be talked about for months, and that people were going to really take notice, and here Earth Day had come and gone, and I don't think the Cambridges did anything. Earth Day has come and gone. I think Will is probably done with the Earth flop. Anything else is just going to be a little something he pulls out when they need to look like they're doing something. Because remember, the only thing that's more important than being busy is looking like you're busy, right? You got to pretend like you're busy. Otherwise, um, it's just wasting everybody's time. But yeah, there they are, not really getting the reception that they assumed they would get. They were just there. The players ignored them. Nobody paid. And eventually, do you guys remember? Eventually, the seat to the right side of William was vacated, and they went and got someone from the stands behind him and set that person down next to him. If I recall, okay, that lady is sitting there. I can't see the guy for the player, but there was another guy back there. Let me see. Yeah, I can't see him. But someone swapped seats with that lady that's sitting there, and then eventually they put some guy there. But yeah, what a dull pair of people. I mean, it's just like looking at a couple of limp, wet dish rags draining on a towel rack. Just limp dish rags, just hanging there. Sean says, "Do y'all want to hear about the time I slept rough with a black man?" Some snowy night by the fire, perhaps, but Maybe not right now, but yeah, some snowy night by the fire. But thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Let me see here. You know, every time I get on Royal Sussex, you know what happens, right? Sinuses. Not sometime. Every time. Oh, Lord. Okay. Look at their body language. Will and Kate are leaning away from each other. Harry and Meghan leans into each other and communicate non-verbally very effectively. Yes, they do. And that is a great observation. They do tend to lean away. Like a couple of what do you call it? Like a native species and an invasive species vying for the sun. They lean away from each other. Thank you so much for your comment. And let's go here. And another thing about that event, William and Kate, they weren't going to a game to support a team or to support their team of workers or aides or um, courtiers. They went to a game just to be seen, as Legs mentioned. They were just there to be seen. And if you recall, it said very clearly in the Daily Mail, Prince William and Kate Middleton are met with boos at Boston Celtics game. And over here, you can see viewers switch off the Earthshot Prize minutes into the show. Viewers switch off Earthshot Prize because, well, anyway, I'll tell you why. Because I remember they switched it off because number one, it was boring, and number two, they quickly realized that the honorees, including the young lady that you see there, they were on via satellite. They had second-rate acts performing. This young lady was on via satellite. All of the five people that were honored were on satellite, but yet they flew in. Oh gosh, David Beckham. They flew him in from Dubai or wherever the heck he was, so that he could do his bit at the event. But he came in on a private jet. Why would you fly him privately there and then fly him right back? And that's just one of the people. It was a waste of money. All that money people paid into the Earth flop, it was a waste of money. So, but any chance I get to point that out, I will. Cookies and Cream says, oh, you're saying hi to a few people? Thank you so much. Let me see. Nurse Black says they probably don't understand American basketball. They're just fake. I guess they didn't remember the Boston Tea Party. Why would Brits go to Boston of all places? I know, of all places. Thank you so much. Dorothy Ross says there's a lot of being said against Kate's visiting people in need and going empty-handed again. They have enough dough to give it to the people. Unlike when Meghan visits, she always takes something to help. Well, now, Dorothy Ross, that's not fair. They did take those brownies that look like hockey pucks that time to the Ukrainian center. That time that they went and they said they can only give a smile and a wave. They took that and they took some granola bars that look like, I don't know, rat bait or something. So they did have that one occasion when they actually brought something with them. That one occasion of all the years they've been together and all the times that they have gone to different community centers, food banks. I just have to be fair and say that one time they had that shopping bag with those foil pans lined with brownies and granola bars that looked like it was something left over in the Kensington Palace canteen or something. But yeah, they did do that one time. So I just have to be fair. That one time, that uno, just it never happened before or since, but that one time they did bring something. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your comment and for jarring my memory to remember that one time they actually brought something with them. Let me see. Christopher Pothemon says, great observation, Baron. I also notice whenever the two pairs are walking, you always see Harry and Meghan holding hands while the other two are walking apart from each other. Yeah, they say that they have this like overblown sense of duty and that they want to make sure that they're on good protocol and such. However, it's not even just at events like that. When they were newlyweds, I think I saw like a image of William reaching over and hugging Kate, and they were just so tactile with each other. I mean, not a lot, but more so than they are now, where Kate seems to pat him on the rump here and there. I think I've got like 3 photos of her patting him on the rump for some reason. And yeah, their body language, they're not just miles apart, they're worlds apart. And the Rangers and the occasional story from the tabloids, they try to stress the idea that they're so close to each other. And I don't know how many times I've seen photos where they say how they look at each other adoringly. And I think one of the photos, you could just look at it closely and you could tell that they were actually, Kate was looking past him and he was looking down and away from her. It was just so obvious. This is not the photo, but this is the warmth. This is the tender warmth that they have for one another whenever they're out and about. I mean, if you didn't know better, it's almost like standing between a couple of house cats that's about to fight each other. I don't know where the warmth is. I mean, duty is one thing, but what they try to pull is gaslighting. And it's really sad. We wouldn't even care if they would just leave Harry and Meghan alone. I don't say these things because I care about what's going on with them, but I want them to leave the Sussexes alone and concentrate on something more important to the nation, like the fact that these two may not be together for much longer. That's going to be a constitutional disaster. But thank you so much, Christopher, and thank you for being here today. Leg says Earthflop was classes, waste of money. You want the wealthy celebrities to come where you want to wine and dine, but make the peasants stay home. Yeah, and I think, Legs, that because of the pushback that they received, they actually had invited them to Kensington Palace, I think, at a later date. I'm not sure, but I think at some point they brought them to Kensington Palace at a later date. But still, if you're going to pay to fly them there, you should have brought them to Boston. I don't understand how they missed that. It's just incredible how much the staff that works for them seem to miss certain things. I mean, they're very inexperienced. And like I was listening to one of the spaces today, they said that the staff that they have, they're not professionals. They're people who knew other people that knew somebody that used to work for so and so or went to school with such and such. Those are the people that work there. And if I could, oh God, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to quote the Orange Menace. They're not sending their best and the brightest. As a matter of fact, when Will and Kate came to Boston, I would dare say the royal family. I would say the royal family didn't send their best or the brightest. They never do. Yeah, it's a bunch of non-professional people doing some very important work, and that is representing a nation of people. I mean, that is important, but they make a mockery of it. They're so bad at what they do. And the bad thing about it is they are rewarded by keeping their jobs. they are rewarded by keeping their jobs even when they're doing a bad job. So, again, not my concern, but it just goes to show that competence is not high on the menu. All you have to do is just show up. That is how it's done. And the sad thing for Harry and Meghan is they really wanted to do an effective job. I believe before Meghan showed up, Harry didn't actually. Um, you know what? I take that back because Harry's. I don't think Harry has ever had a foreign tour representing the Queen. I cannot think of one where he had a misstep. And if you remember from the book Spare, when Harry went to New York after 9/11, he was genuinely affected by it. And when he went on that to the Intrepid, he had a list of things and places that he wanted to go. And the 9/11 site was one of them. And also, he went to Arlington Cemetery. So that was a royal tour, Harry style. Oh, God, did I just say that? Harry style. Well, thank you so much, Legs. And thank you again for the super chat. Okay, Harry style. Can't believe I did that. Uh, those brownies needed more butter. Yeah, they were kind of crusty looking. Uh, okay, Queen had secret agreement with Murdoch papers to spare Harry hacking trial ordeal, court hears. Um, you guys, the news has been fast and furious. I would say please go and find the Byline website and read this article for yourself. But the news today, and I was away from home, and I was just like, oh boy, I need to be in front of my computer because this is intense. But yeah, I thought everything leading up to the coronation was going to be just that, the coronation. But, well, I guess, as they say, God had another plan. Queen Elizabeth II entered into a secret agreement with Rupert Murdoch's British tabloid to spare Prince William and Harry from phone hacking trial the Duke of Sussex had claimed in new legal papers. The late monarch and top Buckingham Palace staff approved the deal, allegedly negotiated with legal advice in 2012 with the publishers of The Sun and News of the World in a bid to avoid reputational damage to the royal institution. So, this has been trending like mad. Another place where you can get the lowdown is from the Guardian. Oh my goodness, the Guardian. The Guardian. What can I say about them? They are truly doing the Lord's work lately. Hello, Mary Hiker. Thank you so much for being here. Always glad you're here. But yeah, let me see. Coffee Bar, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you especially for being a member of Royal Sussex. So, if you guys are unaware, there is, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, here we go.
Murdoch firm paid secret phone hacking settlement to Prince William. Details of alleged deal in 2020 given in legal documents submitted by Prince Harry amid legal fight with Sun publisher Rupert Murdoch's media business, secretly paid Prince William a very large sum of money to quietly settle a phone hacking claim, according to new court filings. The Prince of Wales received the previously undisclosed payment in 2020 after bringing a legal claim against the owner of The Sun and the News of the World. Details of the settlement were given in legal documents submitted by his brother, Prince Harry, as part of his own legal battle with the publisher, which returns to the High Court on Tuesday. Harry told the court his attempts to seek an apology from Murdoch's company over phone hacking were carried out with the approval of his grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth II. The royal claims there was a secret agreement struck between royal family and senior executives at Murdoch's company at some point before 2012. As part of this supposed deal, the princes would delay legal proceedings against the newspaper group in return for receiving an apology at a later date. Harry said the royal family did this after being scarred by the Tampongate incident when the Sun obtained a recorded phone call between Prince Charles and Camilla while the couple were having an affair in the 1980s. Harry said the royal family was desperate to avoid a repeat of this coverage. The filings state the reason for this was to avoid the situation where a member of the royal family would have to sit in the witness box and recount the specific details of the private and highly sensitive voicemails that had been intercepted by the News of the World royal reporter Clive Goodman. The institution was incredibly nervous about this and wanted to avoid at all costs the sort of reputational damage that it had suffered in 1993 when the Sun and another tabloid had unlawfully obtained and published details of an intimate telephone conversation that took place between my father and stepmother in 1989 while he was still married to my mother. Harry says News UK failed to uphold its side of the secret agreement when he sought this apology in 2017. He claims meetings were arranged involving Rebekah Brooks, the chief executive of Murdoch's News UK, and Robert Thompson, the global head of Murdoch's Global News Corp business, but they went nowhere. As a result, Harry decided to launch legal proceedings against the publisher of The Sun and the News of the World. He alleges the company targeted him with widespread illegal activity for much of his life, including hacking his voicemails and illegally obtaining personal information in the name of journalism. Many of Harry's allegations relate to claims of illegal behavior at The Sun, while Brooks was editor in the 2000s. Newsgroup newspapers insisted there is no secret agreement. Although News UK has admitted phone hacking took place at the News of the World, it has always maintained no wrongdoing took place at The Sun. Brooks was found not guilty of phone hacking at a criminal trial in 2014. A spokesperson for the company said, "The Sun does not accept liability or make any admissions to the allegations," emphasizing that many of Harry's claims dated back 20 years. Murdoch's media empire is fighting hard to avoid being dragged into another high-profile court case, just weeks after paying more than $700 million or £560 million to settle a U.S. defamation case against Fox News. It is trying to stop Harry's case from going to trial, arguing that he waited too long to bring the case and should have suspected he was a phone hacking victim at an earlier date. Claims that Murdoch's company privately reached a settlement with Prince William was included as part of Harry's legal case that there were secret deals between the royal family. There are no further details about what William alleged took place and whether it related to The Sun or the now defunct News of the World, which was closed down at the height of the phone hacking scandal in 2011. A Buckingham Palace spokesperson said it would never comment on an ongoing legal case. Kensington Palace declined to comment. It had long been known William and Harry had been the victims of phone hacking after Goodman was found guilty of hacking royal voicemails at a trial in 2007. At that time, Murdoch's business said Goodman was operating alone, and the newspaper had been let down by a rogue reporter. When The Guardian revealed that in reality hacking was widespread in the News of the World newsroom, the Sunday newspaper was shut down, and the scandal threatened to derail the entire company, with hundreds of victims agreeing settlement deals at a total cost of about £1 billion. Harry is now fighting 3 separate legal battles against 3 media groups, all alleging illegal activities were used to target him in the name of journalism. Last month he turned up in person for his case against the publisher of the Daily Mail, with a judge currently considering whether that case should be allowed to go to a full trial. A separate trial against the publisher of the Mirror and Sunday Mirror is due to start in a fortnight, with Harry set to break with royal protocol by giving evidence in the witness box. If Harry is successful in this week's hearing against Murdoch's company, then he is seeking damages in excess of £200,000, with a high-profile trial scheduled for January 2024. The royals' lawyers told the court News UK had engaged in years of deliberate concealment, destruction of evidence, cover-up at the highest level, and false denials even given under oath. They said, the invasion of his personal conversations and relationships caused distress, as his privacy was constantly violated and his safety jeopardized. Prince Harry is appalled by the tactics used by journalists to interfere with and ruin his relationships and feels sick, knowing that these actions were conducted unlawfully. His lawyers said Harry was bringing the case because crime should not be allowed to pay.
Okay, so well, I got another sound bite for you guys. Here is another one. Prince Harry thinks this
Just
is.
please remember to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe as you leave.
How is that happening? Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so be prepared to adjust your sound. Here goes.
That Rupert Murdoch, look, there is every chance that the judge just decides that Rupert Murdoch and his team of lawyers have a point, and that Harry has left this too long, and that everyone else has, sort of brought their phone hacking claim in a previous decade virtually, and that Harry, along with all the other claimants, and that includes, as we know, Hugh Grant and David Furness and Elton John and Doreen Lawrence, it may be that this whole thing goes. But if it doesn't, what we are learning is that Harry, Prince Harry, is one of those few people who is willing to see this through to the end, that he has said he'll take the stand, he'll be in court. He wants to do this, I'm imagining, because he somehow thinks of it as vindication for everything that his mother went through and everything that she died actually for. And I wonder whether somewhere this has become a very, very emotional question for Harry. It's clearly not about the money. He's already been offered, I think, 200,000 or something in that region as a payout. If he's not accepting that, yes, either he's trying to climb much, much higher, or else he's just saying, I want to see Murdoch brought to his knees over this.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, look, I think that he's got the money to do it, and crucially, he's got the will to do it. And that's the difference, right? With all of the other people who've come and gone before, most people who have engaged in this, they don't want the endless story and the stories that come their way as a result of taking these people on. Harry's been there. He's done it.
Mm.
And his whole objective isn't to get the money. It is to, I think in some sense, we saw it when we saw the Meghan and Harry documentary. We saw it in Spare. I think there's a sense he has of destiny with this, that this is his role now, is to bring truth, to teach truth to these institutions. It is Harry against the world. And the reason this matters isn't just because this is like a royal salacious story. The point is that if this does come to trial, and this does start in January of next year, as Jim was saying, then the capacity for collateral damage and for huge damage, not only against Murdoch, not only against the wider press, but indeed the collateral damage on the royal family itself could be huge.
Yeah.
And we know, frankly, he doesn't care.
The newsagents.
How about that? The potential damage to the royal family could be huge, and he doesn't seem to care. So, you guys, Harry is doing the noble thing. And yes, as he has admitted, it may not necessarily be the wisest thing to do, but we all know that if Harry just sits back and do nothing, that they're never going to leave them alone. Meghan is married to Harry. Um, in the eyes of God, they have become one, and they have decided to fight this thing as a team. They decide things as a team, and I felt really sad that there was so many squatties that were furious with Harry for going to the coronation, and then of course before that there were a lot of people that were furious that Harry and Meghan went to the Jubilee. Um, and of course we had in between the antics at the Queen's funeral. Um, but that's Harry's roots. Even aside from the whole idea, oh, that family, he has to get past that abusive family and institution. I don't believe that the desired outcome is that he doesn't have a family. The desired outcome is that he could seek justice from the courts for the people that have made his life miserable. And hopefully by doing this, they won't come after his kids. They won't come after any of the other royal kids. So there's that possibility that in the future, people will have to thank Harry for not giving up the fight, because his kids are here now. They've been away from that country as a married couple longer than they were there at this point, and there's no going back. There's no going back for sure. But the thing is, they still have business over there, and Harry has his roots there, and that is that's the children's birthright is there. That's part of their birthright. Whether or not that's important to us, okay, but that's obviously important to the Sussexes. TB, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you again for being a member. By the way, you guys, if you have a membership with the Patreon, and I see someone has just signed up to the Patreon, thank you so much for that. You won't have access to the stickers that are available for the what do you call it, for the YouTube. Aside from that, there's really no other super perks or anything like that. There's no actually not usually, there's never any extra video extras and extra content and all that kind of stuff. I made a choice. I could either do my daily uploads, or I can spend a day fooling around with Patreon. And there's even been times when I was even thinking about just closing out the Patreon because I don't really use it, but it's there if that's your preference to support the channel like that. It is greatly appreciated, but there's no extra content there. And so there are several people who have been on Patreon since I started, and God bless you for that, because there's really nothing extra there. And there was one squatty that kind of took exception to that. So I actually, told them that if they want to end their patronage like that, then, that was fine, because I don't want to, make people or lead people on to think that there's something extra over there. I know a lot of content creators do have that, but most of them don't have a daily upload for 2 hours and 3 hours. So there's a lot of work for this channel that happens away from the live stream. And then, of course, there's being on live. So it's just the way I prefer to do it. So thank you if you do have the Patreon. If you choose to move your support over here or whatever your preference is, either way, I appreciate it. Okay, let me see. TB says, I read that part of the deal was William was to prevent Harry from suing them. William failed to do that because Harry left and refused to go along with it. If he hadn't met Meghan, he would have had to do what William said. Yeah, TV, that's the whole thing with that relationship of theirs. There was no mechanism for Harry to act independently. This very strong willed, hardworking, determined young man was supposed to follow in his brother's footstep for the rest of his life. And there was no negotiation about that. There was no exception to that. He was supposed to listen to ill tempered, hot headed William for the rest of his life. And everybody was okay with that. And then at some point, when he met the one, and he realized that I don't want this life for myself. I don't want it for my kids. I don't want it. I don't want it. And so he took a big step back away from it. And that was the wise thing to do. Because if not, and what do I always say? Sometimes God will do for you what you can't do for yourself. And as painful as it was to be ejected from that situation that they were in, they were literally chewed up and spit out. And even though they were spat out onto the hot pavement, look at how they are living their lives now. Look at what they've done. I am so proud of Harry and Meghan for taking their foundation and actually outperforming two former presidents, two former first ladies, all four of which are Ivy League graduates. One was the editor of the Harvard Law Review, the other a Rhodes Scholar. And of course, one of the first ladies has a double Ivy League degree. You know how much education is among the four of them? And yet, Harry and Meghan's foundation, which started during the pandemic, actually outperformed theirs. That is staggering when you consider it. I mean, there's a lot of arguments you can make for why that is so, but let's just say this. They had the drive and the tenacity to do it. And of course, they hired some very talented people. They hired some very talented people. They did send for the best and the brightest, which is in total contrast to the way they do things over at Kensington Palace, where they, just send for somebody that somebody knows who once went to lunch with. That's that's how they vet their employees. So yeah, that is highly commendable, and I'm just so proud of them, and it makes me so glad to support them. So thank you so much, TB. Okay, I need to shake a tail feather because I am so far behind, and I see there are like a bunch of comments, so I'm just whirling through them at this point. Kim, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching. Royal Sussex Godchild says, Panorama TV said a significant percentage of UK young people and people of color aren't interested in the monarchy and coronation, but showed pics of young people flocking around Harry and Meghan. I believe people metaphorically left with Harry and Meghan. Great observation. Thank you so much for that, God's child. And I think that is very true. There was an excitement and a buzz. This really frustrates me. It really frustrates me. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't like to waste things. I don't like to waste things. Okay? Now, hear me out when I say this. Yes, I know that institution signed on to a lot of things throughout history, genocide, slave trade, and you name it. However, the institution is there. They have a lot of resources, and it could be a force for good in as much as it could be a force for evil. And so it frustrates me that having experienced life as we knew it when Princess Diana was alive, that this institution, which is capable of so much, does the exact same thing again. The exact same thing, except for the fact that, Meghan wasn't somehow in a tunnel in Paris, but they still drove away the one person who actually brought interest to that inadequate, aging relic of an institution. You have driven another light. You have turned out a light. You have tried to dim the light. Instead, you just remove the light. And once the light is gone, the institution is floundering again. The institution is cast back into the darkness. That was a stupid mistake. Stupid. And yet, they've done it again. Diana is the only reason why you guys hear my voice right now. I was watching the royal wedding back in 1981, and that caused me to become very interested in the royal family, in the institution, in all of the history and all of the documentaries I watched. And then let's not even mention somewhere north, I'm not even going to say the figure, but thousands of dollars that I spent crisscrossing Britain with a rail pass to learn this and learn that, experience this, experience that. And now I wouldn't even suggest to another person to do that. I couldn't do it, not in good faith. That is something that is going to cost a lot of people that depend on tourism and work and such. There's a lot of people that are just not going to go there. I mean, tourism wasn't exactly, and they weren't really competing with Spain, Italy, or France, but now even less so. I mean, outside of London, tourism just kind of goes very flat. You don't get a lot of it. And now it's going to be even less. That it boggles the mind that with so much potential to do great things, right? So much potential, and they just squandered it. Meghan is here, Harry is here. So not only have you removed your star player, Harry, but the light that he introduced to the institution, you have just removed that. You have removed the sun and the stars and the moons, and now you're back in the dark ages again. And all you have to depend upon the future, the bright future as they envision it. This is the future. This is the future. Anybody dumb enough to walk out the house looking like a bottle of Mitchum deodorant doesn't deserve a driver's license, let alone to fly a helicopter or even navigate the pavement. This is their future. That was so stupid. Stupid. How do you do something so wantingly stupid? I don't get it. Again, I don't like to waste stuff, but they are squandering an amazing platform. It is wasted with trips to the food bank with no food. You're listening to people in need and brought nothing with you. How long do they think they're going to keep doing that? How long do they think people are going to misassociate one thing with another? Or is it disassociate? How dumb. I just don't have another word. It's just dumb. Lord save them from themselves. I don't get it. Save them from themselves. They know not what they do. They don't have sense. So thank you so much, God's child. Thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And BW, back from the honeymoon, thank you so much for the very generous contribution. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Happy Tuesday to you. So, you guys, thank you so much for allowing me to vent. I just had to get that out of my system, but I feel like I'm dealing with kids playing around a hot stove. These are kids playing around a hot stove. They don't get what they're doing. Do you have to pull a pan of grease or a pot of hot water on you before you get it? Walking around with your mouth twisted up like you're so angry and so incandescent with rage, and getting everybody to jump to their feet when you walk in the room. That's not leadership. Oh, man. I remember the day she died when the crash happened. We knew they took her to the hospital. Then they announced Diana passed. I was shocked to the world. I still remember that day. Rest in peace, Diana. TV, it resonated all over the world that something great, something magic had just slipped through our fingers. It was Diana was here, and then she wasn't, and that was something that I remember where I was. I remember who told me. I remember how I felt. And a lot of people felt that way. It's hard to really describe the connection to Diana with so many people in the world, but Diana was just like part of your conscious, part of your conscious. She was just there. She emitted a warmth and a glow. She had a certain magic about her. She was really a princess. She was truly a princess. Not perfect, but just a princess, and that's it. She was everything that she was supposed to be. And I'm so hurt when I see how they try to reimagine her existence, how they try to explain all of her faults and all of those things that we didn't know about her. I don't believe most of it. I really don't. I'm sure there may be some truth to it, but by and large, she was a very normal person who was capable of doing some very extraordinary things. And that's the long and the short of it. A very ordinary person who had some very extraordinary abilities when it came to people. And because they cannot receive that kind of love, I feel like the people in the institution, if we can't be that, if we can't experience that, then not only has she died tragically and mysteriously in that tunnel, but we're going to have to destroy her memory. And William is sitting passively back and allowing this to happen. What do they have on him? What's in his past? What is he hiding that he would somebody hands you a speech and you stand in front of a camera and say that your mother was paranoid and isolated and whatever other language, but I remember paranoid and whatever the other word was that he used to describe his mother. He didn't write that speech. Someone gave it to him. And the speech took away all of the responsibility from the tabloids and really put the responsibility on Martin Bashir and the BBC. Nobody else. No mention of the tabloids. No mention of any phone hacking or anything like that. None of it. The only reason why at least that was the purpose of the speech, was to lead us to believe that Diana's only troubles were Martin Bashir and the BBC. Cut, print, edit. Okay. Let me see here. Andrew Bodie says, let me see. If it wasn't for Diana, I probably wouldn't care about the monarchy. I didn't even care about it then after her death, but Meghan was going to be the light for that family. Exactly. It was just like, here is your blessing. This is what's going to make you relevant. This is what's going to give you a new purpose, right? And they're like, we'll have none of that. Thank you for your comment. It's so frustrating, but I'm just like, I hate to see when people do something so silly. Let's try the same thing that didn't work every time we tried it before. Royal Family Insane Media Plan approved by Charles and Camilla Gossip Factory. Yeah. Rinse and repeat, right? Rinse and repeat. And that's how you're supposed to do it. Rinse and repeat. The stain's not coming out, but just keep rinsing and repeating. Thank you so much, YM Droid, for your super chat. Oh man, I just like I say, there's a powerful platform there, and I even say, you guys know how I feel about Donald Trump. You know how I feel about Donald Trump. And I was hoping and praying, even though I didn't vote for him, and probably I could not imagine a world where I would, but I was praying that he would take this incredible platform that he has, connived his way into and do something with it. Rise to the occasion. It was business as usual. As a matter of fact, that slick mentality. Do you know that they said one time, an economist said, if Donald Trump would have took the money that his father left him, if he would have took his inheritance and put it into a good market fund, he would have way more money today than what he pretended to have yesterday. He would have all of that and then some if he would have just made some proper investments. But Donald Trump likes to use his lawyers to bully and coerce people into accepting less than what was agreed upon. The first thing they do, his corporation, they'll say, I'm not paying you that. No, look at this, look at that. I'm not paying you that. And there are so many ma and pop businesses that have gone belly up because they could not afford to fight Donald Trump in court. Does that sound familiar? Because that is the exact racket that the tabloids use. They know that there's a possibility that they'll get sued, but they make so much money from ruining your life that they are willing to take their chances and accept the fact that they're going to pay out large sums of money because they are going to monetize your pain. And so if Harry wanted to strike a deal tomorrow, they do it. But it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's the principle of it. That's why Royal Sussex exists. It's the principle of it. I hate a bully. I hate a bully. So that's the whole point of it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have a channel. I probably wouldn't, or I would, my initial thing was to do a travel channel. But I don't know that I would have as much passion. I probably wouldn't. There's more passion for me to set the record straight. Although I do love to travel, I do love to encourage people to travel. But, this is just something that I thought was more necessary. And I'm glad to do it. And I'm glad that you guys trust me to do it. So, and as long as that is, something that I can do, that I can be helpful, then I'm going to do it. Manello, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, you got to stand on principle in this life. Otherwise, I think that spiritually, there's a certain hollowness there. John Youngblood said, I was absolutely no fan of Ronald Reagan, but after he died, I made it a point to say nothing mean or degrading of him. I haven't since then. The way the British have turned on Diana is disgusting. John Youngblood, listen, I am speechless about that. That's okay. Let's say that there's two things, and I'm sure there's more that I'm not really focused on right now. But one, the way that they treated the Sussexes, mostly at the funeral, but throughout this entire time, in front of the world, and they just don't care, right? That is shocking to me. There's not a day I'm not surprised by how easily and casually they can be cruel and racist and mean spirited, and it seems like it's just a lazy yawn. It's like watching a serpent unhinge its jaw, eat an elk. Okay, maybe a deer, eat a deer, and then suddenly the anaconda just kind of snaps his jaw back in place and goes to sleep somewhere. That is how the tabloid media is, and is like apex predators. And then the other thing is that they have been working diligently and methodically to destroy Diana. It's like they I'm going to use an example. Alessandro de Medici, right? The Duke of Florence, biracial. They used to call him Il More, Il More, um, the Moor, for being black, right? And he was assassinated by a relative who wanted to seize power. He thought people would thank him for it. And all those years after his death, not only did they assassinate him in a sleeping chamber, then for years they have whitewashed his image and assassinated his character repeatedly, again and again. And this is what's happening with Diana. This is what has happened with Diana. It wasn't enough that somehow she died mysteriously in the tunnel or killed in that tunnel. They're not through yet because they have to assassinate her character day after day, one documentary at a time, one newspaper at a time, one magazine at a time. Every so often, there's that constant beat of, oh, people really didn't know Diana. Diana was this, Diana was that. And Diana is not here to defend herself. We only are supposed to listen to what they say. People who probably did not know her. We have to listen to Paul Burrell speak of all of these things that he knows about Harry and Harry's brother, even though, I'm trying to figure out how close could you have been to a 12-year-old boy? How close could you have been while he's at boarding school? But then when it suits him, he'll say that he knows Diana better than they do. He knew the Queen better than they did because he was here, he was there. It's gaslighting, simply gaslighting. Okay, I better get moving here. Let me see here. So, again, William got paid. They were supposed to keep a secret. They totally circumvented the agreement that was made during the time of the Queen. And now the Queen is gone. but Harry is still here to fight the fight. And so there is William, Rebecca Brooks, the one who accused Harry of some things that he mentioned in the book. And of course, Rupert Murdoch, the man who is actually degrading or has degraded Western civilization as we know it. Because of him, we accept lies as the truth. I think society has become more cynical, more cruel, and anything negative that you could apply to his brand of journalism has literally dismantled some of the oldest institutions in the world, some of the most important institutions in the world. Um, yeah, that's what he's been responsible for. The triangle of evil, that triangle between the U.S., the U.K., and Australia, and sitting right there at the top of that pyramid is a Rupert Murdoch. Yep. Oh man, what a terrible, terrible individual. Uh, what? I didn't know about Alessandro de Medici was biracial. Yeah. His mother was black, and his father, Pope Clements. Well, and the interesting thing is that when you look at those paintings of Alessandro, he was obviously of African descent, but he still had that Medici nose, that Medici nose, huge Medici nose. But yeah, actually, I did a video about that some time ago, but I was thinking about doing a reboot, so look for that soon. All right, moving on. So there's that. All right, so let's get to the bar. Let's get to the pub. So, Princess at the pub. Eugenie shows off her baby bump as she joins Sister Beatrice in Notting Hill for outing with celeb pals Jane Blount and, of course, Hoghead Pierce Morgan. So, what do you know? I don't have a clue what was going on at this event. And, you know, you guys, the only thing I could say is that they possibly could be trying to help their father in some way. They may be trying to help their parents, or maybe they were just there. Maybe there was a party for someone and we're not aware of it, but it seemed like it was some kind of gathering that they were invited to, or maybe it happened just by chance. Um, I don't have anything against Beatrice and Eugenie. Those are Harry's cousins. Of course, he always seemed to have been closer to, um, I think it was Eugenie, right? He's always been closer to Eugenie. And he was at the Super Bowl game in LA with Eugenie. I always mix the two of them up. I don't feel bad because a lot of people do, and it's always hard for me to try to figure out which is which. But I know they look different, right? One got the big peepers, and the other one um, oddly looks like her father a lot. So, but yeah, so there was a lot of condemnation for the sisters being there. But yeah, Adrian Burrow, I don't know what the point of it was, but I do believe that there must be some photographer that was planted there, and it's not exactly. I don't know. I don't know. I still have no clue, but all I know is, yeah, Beatrice has the big peepers, and both have the big teeth. Look, y'all, don't get me started. Please don't get me started with that. But okay, let's look at it like this. There may have been some attempt. I'm sorry, I'm making noise with the microphone, but I'm trying to get comfortable. But there may have been some attempt to help their father. And, well, let's face what is going on with this microphone. Let's face it, their father needs help. I mean, anybody could look at that man, can tell he needs help. And Beatrice seems to be very defensive of her father, right? As well she should. That's her father. And she seems like she's always in it. Oh, excuse me. Like she's ready to battle for him in a way that I think is really thoughtful. And as I choose my words carefully, hi, Mashar, Shirley Slaughter. As I choose my words carefully, let me say this. Beatrice, they allege Beatrice is the one who told her father, why don't you go on television and tell your side of the story? And so, if that is the case, the sick old man went on television to dig a hole, to defend himself, and it was a train wreck. So I could understand if there is any possibility that Eugenie or Beatrice, either one of them, decided that they needed to be in a certain place to help their father. It doesn't mean that either one of them are conspiring against the Sussexes, although you can never rule anything out. But it doesn't mean that that's what's going on. But it is a very odd situation. Now, if you guys remember, Beatrice was the one who was at the Phillips memorial service. Now, I can't tell if she's laughing or crying, but some people said that when her father walked in with the Queen, that she became incredibly emotional. Now, either way, is it? I do believe she was crying. She was very, very emotional when she saw her father. So I'm only sharing this with you now to say that there is the possibility that she may be maneuvering behind the scenes to try to help him. One or both of the sisters may actually be trying to help him, but we don't know. We don't know for sure. So if it was our parents, I'm sure we would do whatever we thought we could possibly do to help our parent. And so I'm not going to fault them for that. I'm not even saying that that's what it is. I'm just saying if that is the case, I understand. Robin Hyde says, Baron, I agree, but at what cost? The royal family are always making plans with the devil. Andrew dug his hole. Now he needs to lie down and be quiet. I agree. The best thing for him to do is to just go away. You don't really get to come back from that. And at the very least, I don't think it's been enough time. I really don't think it's been enough time. It's not my decision to make, but I'm just saying from my casual observation, it has not been enough time. And especially with the possible price that would be on the entire family's heads if you don't. I mean, you may literally end that institution, because if he stays public, if he stays visible, eventually some more information is going to emerge that is going to be even worse, right? And he doesn't have the sweet old lady to defend him this time. I think he got a good break before because of the love and concern for his mother. But we all remember when he showed up at that church and he walked his mother to the seat, there was hell to pay, even from the tabloids. So best thing for him to do, like you say, just lay down somewhere and stop trying to force your reform. It'll happen when it happens, if ever it happens. Let me see. John Youngblood says, isn't there a program about Andrew being played? Yes, thank you for reminding us. During the coronation, they are going to play, what is it, Channel 4? Or I forget which channel over there. But yeah, they're going to run simultaneously with the coronation the makings of the Andrew interview. I hope they tell us who told him it was a good idea. I'll be waiting for that one. So right there, look at that. There's Beatrice, right? Beatrice says, Beatrice plead, give Dad a job, Charles. Isn't it interesting that her name pops up on that cover? That's just a little receipt that I had tucked away. Didn't even know I had it, but look at where we are now. Something told me, hang on to that. And then right here, Beatrice and Eugenie begged Charles to let shamed Andrew back in from the code. Future king rebutted pleas of princesses of the Duke of York to give him a new job after that situation scandal rocked the royal family. So when you look at that, right? So we're not saying with all certainty that we know what this was about. But when you consider this and this, you can't rule it out either. You can't rule it out. Do we care? Not really. Not about what they're doing, but we do kind of have a concern about how this could affect the Sussexes. Not really a whole lot we can do from a distance, but just so people know that the Sussex squad is always keeping receipts. Let me see. Big Mama says they are not going to take Harry's side, even if they agree with him. They don't want Charles and will to turn the attention on them, and Harry and Meghan wouldn't want them to. Very cool, Big Mama. Thank you so much for sharing that. Great point. Great point. Lorna Williams says, I don't trust the princess. I'm sorry. One more time. I don't trust Beatrice. She just gives piss more on his royal source, allegedly. Every lie that comes out of his mouth, he will use this picture to imply where he got it from. Beatrice is an idiot. Now, you know what, Lorna Williams? Whatever is happening, you make an amazing point. As a matter of fact, you get a bell for that, because whether this is innocent or not, the implication is likely to be that he has inside information. That will be the implication. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. That is very important to consider. The implication. It doesn't matter what it's about. It is what it appears to be. Like, for instance, if what's the Italian guy's name? Monopoly. If her husband Monopoly, if his eyes get stuck like that, who should we blame? Huh? Do we blame the man on the moon? Do we blame do we blame her dad? Somebody's responsible for that. And we have to make sure that we keep an eye on it, no pun intended, but somebody is responsible for that. So if Piers Morgan appears on television and his eyes start to look like Beatrice or Monopoly, then we'll know. So mark that down, you guys. If Piers Morgan's eyes are like this, then we excuse me, then we know for sure exactly what's going on. So I think I have just figured out a way to sort this out. If Pierce Morgan's eyes do not look like that, then they just ran into each other. But if Pierce Morgan all of a sudden starts looking like Beatrice and Monopoly, got him, got him, got him, got him. Woo! Busted. Yes, the Sussex Squad Detective Agency strikes again. That is how we'll know. If Pierce Morgan's eyes start to look like saucers, then we know what the truth is. We know that they have had a pretty tight connection. So there you go, you guys. See, I knew at some point I would sort this out. Let me see. I don't even believe that that Italian guy is interested in being a dress. Sure he is. I mean, look, he can't take his eyes off of her. Of course he's interested. He cannot take his eyes off of her. Even now, somewhere his pupils are dilated, his eyes are as big as saucers. Nobody would do that unless they were deeply, deeply in love. Okay. And of course, Meghan is friends with Eugenie, but I don't think she was ever close to Beatrice. Eugenie was her friend. So, and they even said that Eugenie may have been one of the reasons why Harry met Meghan. So remember, Beatrice was not close to Meghan, but Eugenie is. Let me see here. Baron, it's like a case of the body snatch. It is. It's like a case of the body snatchers. There's no accounting for how these things happen, but somehow they swap out your eyes or something. Thank you, Kim. Okay. And then, of course, the other thing that I have been fascinated with, and you know what, guys, I'm just being totally petty, but what is this fascination that Beatrice has with those boots? I don't get them boots. If somebody pointed and said, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Look, what? That's a princess across the street. Would you believe them? Now, I would think they were talking about the other person, like, I don't know, the princess and her makeup person or her hairdresser or something. But the thing is, the princess is actually the one that is wearing the boots with 1,000 buckles. That's that she loves that look. But yeah, so and I even tried to figure out the history of that bar, how it relates to Hoghead and the rest of them, and I couldn't figure out anything. So it may just be a random location. It could have been a birthday party. And this is an old picture of Monopoly and Beatrice. And again, there she is wearing those boots. Yeah, so as you can see in this photo, his eyes are still relatively normal. But as time has gone by, you can tell that they spend a lot of time together. So am I being too petty or what? I'm having fun. But like I say, you'd be hard pressed to convince you would be hard pressed to convince somebody that that is the queen's granddaughter. I'd be like, get out of here. No, it ain't. But yeah, that's Beatrice and Eugenie. So you know, this ain't the first time I drag these photos out. Too much. Okay, let me move on. I don't know why. I get a kick out of it. But oh man. All right. All right. I'm being silly. Let me move on. So, Tucker blindsided by Fox. Tucker Carlson was blindsided by Fox News firing that was a direct order from Rupert Murdoch after January 6th conspiracy claims and producers' lawsuit alleging bullying, sexism, and anti-Semitism. Really? Boy, I tell you, when they decide to unload, they really unload. Oh, excuse me. There goes my allergies again. Let me see here. And I love this photo. Now, of course, this was photoshopped, but if you get the is this from what was that mafioso television show, The Sopranos or something like that? I think this is like a scene from The Sopranos. I love the way that they just like take him into this room with the knotted pine and the old nautical pictures and everything. But I think it's a scene from The Sopranos. Like they sent a couple of wise guys to go and get him so they could tell him that he's fired. But yeah, love it. I too bad they didn't make one for Donatella Limon. CNN says Don Lemon's bitter statement after being fired is inaccurate and claims they offered to meet him, but he chose not to. Yes, they asked for a meeting with Donatella, and Don Lemon decided to go home and dress up as Meghan again. You cannot convince me that in his spare time, Donatello Limon does not spend hours prancing around the house dressed as Rachel Meghan Markle when she's not humiliating herself in front of the world. But yeah, so Donatella Limon tends to dress up like Meghan during her spare time. Just kidding. I'm sure this was just for Halloween, although she seems to wear those stilettos with more confidence than most women I know. But yeah, yes, that is Donatella Limon. So now she's got plenty time to update the Meghan Markle collection in his, her, them, they closet. So there you go. Yeah, well, I tell you what, Don Lemon has been dreadful to Meghan, and even worse, has he's been a tool. He's been a tool for the wrong people. I'll just say that. He seems to have a anti-social behavior pattern when it comes to people of color, and yeah, he's black when he wants to seem like he's a high achiever or something like that. When he wants to feel like he's overcome his circumstances, then of course that's when he's like, as African American as they get. But in the way he speaks about women of color, and I don't know, it seems like he pushes he anyway, he's fired. Barron, a progressive news site, is quoting New York Times about how far right CNN wants Don Lemon to go. They whisper in his ear to say things he doesn't want to. Even without that, I didn't watch Don Lemon years ago because I could not stand his his I think Don Lemon had problems long before the move to the right with that channel. I really do. And no matter how right wing a channel becomes, they always want to have someone that is like the token liberal. They always have a token liberal. Um, Don Lemon, if you go back and look at the body of his work, for the most part, he was just there. But then in other situations, Don Lemon could be really cruel. He could be very, very cruel. And the tone that he took with an African American woman like Meghan Markle, Princess Meghan, and even going after Kamala Harris, they are trying to play the bits where he seems like he has been misjudged or misrepresented. But if you know of his work and some of the messier times, then maybe you wouldn't feel the same way. I don't know. I can't tell you. Maybe you watch him more than I do, but I've seen enough of them and I don't really care for him. Yeah. Um, and that's one thing I want to say, Miss S. It's easy to be brave and outspoken when you are living in a different world from the rest of the people that look like you. You have transcended race. You have transcended a lot of things that a lot of people never will. And it just seems like he forgot where he came from. It seems like as a matter of fact, I'm not even sure that he was ever a part or a full member of where he claims he comes from. But you listen to him being hypercritical of Harry speaking about his pain, but yet he's got what, 1, 2, 3 books where all he talks about is how people have mistreated him, what he had to overcome to get to where he is. But other people can't tell their story. A woman is not in their prime after they pass 40 years of age. When you get to be 30, 40 years old, you've passed your prime. Who talks like that? Who talks like that? It wasn't just the argument that he had with that Republican guy. I know they're trying to say that, it was the way he talked to that Republican guy. Don Lemon has been a problem for a long time, and he's gotten away with it. And unfortunately for him, after 17 years at that network, he is not needed anymore. It's not just because they want to go right wing. It's because he is kind of he's complacent. He's a bully. And yes, some of the stuff that he said is misogynistic. And I think because he was working for such a liberal network and because of other things, he was able to get away with it. But all of those people on television have somebody whispering in their ear. All of those people on television have talking points at the start of the show. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're going to pay out his contract. It's not like he's going to be poor. So all I can say is good riddance. And I feel the same way I feel about him as I felt about Wendy Williams. Why do you have to consume your own just to get ahead? So, yeah. And then, of course, let me go back here. After the Queen died, when people felt it was time to speak out about, I put it like this: people were very emotionally charged to speak out about colonization, about slavery, and so many other points. Don Lemon allowed that royalist, conservative, slavery denying woman from the UK to unleash on CNN. I wish I had the link to that. She said everything she could to blame slavery on Africans and totally ignore the fact that Britain literally built a insurmountable amount of wealth because of slavery. That was what she was there for. She had a job, and he did not push back in one little bit. After I saw that, I would have preferred he never had another day at CNN that day. So I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't trust him. All right, so moving on. Oh, wrong page. Harry Belafonte died. Harry Belafonte died at age 96. A singer, an actor, as well as a humanitarian, a civil rights activist. Harry Belafonte, dead at age 96. Harry Belafonte started in Hollywood back in the old studio system days. And you might recognize him with Dorothy Dandridge. There he is. What was that? That was called, what was the name of that movie? I think it was called Carmen Jones. Yeah, I think that was Carmen Jones. So Harry Belafonte has passed away. And there he is with another powerful actor, humanitarian. And that, of course, is Sidney Poitier, who passed away, January? Was it the 1st of January of 2022? Or was it the end of 2021? I think it was like January 1st or 2nd or something like that. But yeah, so anyway, you guys, do you recognize these young ladies? Does anybody recognize these young ladies? Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you, Lydia. You guys, please click on that link. You will see exactly what I was talking about. Don Lemon being owned by this woman. As a matter of fact, I am going to put it in the community tab. This is why I can't stand her. I'm going to put it in the community tab right now. This is why I can't stand her. Thank you, Lydia. Oh, I can't stand her. She's a mess. Anyway, do you recognize those young ladies? Okay, Jeremy Clarkson. Who's the other young lady? Who's the other one? Anybody recognize her? Yes, it is Hoghead. That's Hoghead. It's amazing. When I saw that, it's amazing how they look like an extra from the Brady Bunch. I mean, who knew that these rather androgynous young men would grow up and become monsters? Who knew that they would become Rupert Murdoch loving monsters? All of them monsters. Look at there. Hoghead and Rupert Murdoch. That was them. Can you believe that? Anyway, you guys, Joe Biden says he's running for president again. So if he's running, I'm voting for him. And Kamala Harris. Again, Joe Biden is running for president. Even if Don Lemon says that Kamala Harris isn't really black and she shouldn't say that she's African American, I'm going to vote for her anyway. Why is he holding a skull in his hand? Did you guys see that? He's holding something that looks like a skull. What kind of depraved. Anyway, again, Biden and Harris 2024. And with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all for joining us here on Royal Sussex. And don't forget to click on that link so you guys can go back and watch that video with, let me see, I'm going to put that at the top of the chat right now. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Go and watch that video where Don Lemon just sits up there and lets this woman mop the floor with him. Yep, Don Lemon stumped after suggesting the royal commentator that the crown pay reparations. Yeah, I mean, suggesting to the crown of the royal. Well, anyway, yeah, but check it out, you guys. Okay, I got 2 more super chats. Leg says, Baron, is it true that Piers Morgan is sick? Hate eats at you. Wasn't he hugging up on Beatrice? She looked better. Wait a minute, she better get checked, or is it a smoke screen? I don't know. Let's go back and take a look at it. I'm here for it. Let me go back and take a look. Well, I don't know. I don't have a good clear photo of him here. Gosh darn it. But yeah, I didn't think it was anything wrong with him. I know that he had the pandemic, but that's about it. So, I mean, if that is the case, oh well, them's the breaks. Not wishing anything bad on him, of course, but he'll be all right. Yeah, I don't have a good clear photo of it. But yeah, not sure, Legs. I'm not sure what's going on with him. Yeah, but there is something to be said about having hate and hostility in your heart. So it is possible. Okay, go back to our queens. But thank you again, Legs, for the... Oh, where's my bell? Oh, there it is. That's weird. All right. Thank you so much, Legs. Godchild says, Lord, what is that? Soames on Paranoia TV said, Lord Soames, is that his name? Panorama TV said King Charles III doesn't have racism in a drop of his blood. Let me see. People of color believe that too, but his silence at the abuse of Harry and Meghan and the removal of security from his family of color shocked us. God's child, there are people who believe that there is some type of control over the institution or over Charles and possibly William because of their past, because people may have some very compromising information. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know whether or not I believe that, but there's always that possibility. But they say that the men in gray suits are actually the people that run the royal family. So, they belong to, let me see, Philip was a Mason. They have what's that other secret thing? The Order of the Garter. I mean, what are they into? I don't know. A lot of people, didn't they say in Spare that people thought that the royal family, Harry said in Spare, that people believe that his family is a death cult? Wasn't that in Spare? So there's a lot of ways that you can look at that institution and perhaps find a reasonable or unreasonable explanation for why certain things are done and why other things are neglected. I'm open to, hear everything about it. And then hopefully I could like sum up something from that. But otherwise, you know, it's a institution more than it is a family. I think institution first, family second. And then of course, the men in gray suits, they seem to have had complete control over the Queen's affairs toward the end. And Charles, he may just be a figurehead. Maybe he doesn't have any power. It's kind of hard to say. But it would be easier to let Charles be the focal point of people's frustration and hostility while the puppeteer is in the background running everything, whoever that is. But it's a situation that I wouldn't want to be in, that's for sure. Or maybe Charles is just as evil and malicious and ignorant and irresponsible as he appears to be. But, Charles does not protect the people closest to him. And I'm surprised that he has lent all this protection to Camilla. And maybe Camilla is pulling the strings. Maybe Camilla has more power over these situations than we're aware of. I mean, just look at it like this. She knows how to hide in plain sight. She's there and she's not there. Just something to think about. Kind of spooky when you think about it, but it is something to think about. Is exactly who is pulling the strings, the unseen hand, right? Thank you so much, God's Child, for the super chat. And thanks again for being a member and watching Royal Sussex. It is on Twitter, Baron. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Oh, and again, thank you for the super chat. All right. Let me see here. Okay. I'm going to have to look into that, Legs. I hadn't heard anything about it. Huh. Okay. Pierce is too nasty to be sick. Well, I mean, I am going to look into it. I will look into it. But I've known some people in my lifetime that were super negative all the time and gossiped a whole lot. And this is the oddest thing. I never talk about this, but I'm going to just tell you. Two different people that I knew from two different workplaces. As far as I know, they don't know each other. They're not related to each other. And they were the ones in the group that always started mess, ran over themselves to gossip about people and get in everybody's business. And interestingly enough, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with anything, but interestingly enough, the one person that I worked with in one place, she had actually had to have part of her lung removed. Um, no history of that anywhere in her family. She had tried to, sue, saying that the cancerous cells that she had in her lung were work related, and she was not successful with that lawsuit. And likewise, the other person from another job, same thing. The person that would pretend to be your friend when you first get there, talk about you like a dog, conspired against people, all that kind of stuff. And same thing, had to have part of her lung removed. And I was just like, gosh, that's amazing that the two of them have all of that messiness in common. And both of them, I mean, you just don't run into people that often that lost part of their lung. And me having two people with very, identical personality traits like that. I'm just saying. So that hate and negativity, it can do things to you. Okay, you guys, we are done. I see there's still 1,500 people in here. I'm going to wrap it up very soon. When we see our queens, it's about that time. And so we always celebrate the moms that actually helped to create the two most influential royals actually, they are the most influential royals, and the most influential couple in the world today. So that is what time it is. Thank you again for those of you guys in the Eastern Hemisphere. Thank you so much for staying up with us. Let me see here. Ned Stack, thank you so much for being here. Let me see. Is it Kesia Harris? Thank you for being here. What is that you said there? I wouldn't doubt it. Pierce is still bitter, and Meghan rejected him. Is he bitter or is he an opportunist? I never bought that whole thing about rejection. The only thing that I got from that is that Piers Morgan thought he saw an opportunity with Meghan, and when Meghan did not stay in constant contact with him, or whatever the case may be, he got very hostile about it. Plus, the more likely part of it is he used that rejection story as an excuse to attack her on television 5 days a week, every week, in the most vicious manner possible. But then again, Piers Morgan loves to abuse women of color on television. He'll sit on television and abuse them day after day, find every little criticism that he can find. And that is how he has enriched himself these years. And Meghan has just been one of many women that he has been very misogynistic to. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, Adrian, it is odd that there are no photos of Piers Morgan and Meghan, the way he loves to clout chase. That is interesting. Let me see here. Okay, so you guys, thank you so much. I'm going to look for the last word of the day. Thank you again, and thank you all for watching Royal Sussex. Please don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. A lot of subscribers lately. What do you call it? Yeah, like I said, for the coronation, I am going to be documenting all day. And of course, I am going to do a, what do you call it? I'm going to do a live that day. And so, yeah, I got a lot of things, a lot of ideas that I have in mind. So that is what I am going to do. And all right. So thank you very much. All right. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space as always. And let me see what else. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, I will cue the Ginger Avenger. And our last word of the day is Susie Q says, bye all, see you tomorrow. Works for me. All right, love you guys. It is time to cue the Ginger Avenger. Gosh, you gotta love the moms, right? Gotta love the moms. The moms, they just knew. They knew it. They knew it. They're the mostest. Okay. Good night, Sonia Johnson. And oh, there we go. You know what? I am so sorry. Let me see. PG sent me a Cash App, and I had turned my ringer off, so I didn't know it. So if your initials are P and G, thank you so much for the Cash App. Sorry about that. All right, now cue Ginger Avenger. Kathy Jones, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Reba, let me see. Reba says Baron William was sent to take the heat off the media, Charles and Camilla, and he was dumb enough to do it. He did fall on his head when he was a child. Is that right? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, he is kind of special in a special kind of way. But yeah, he is definitely about a brick short of a house, that's for sure. About a tree short of a hammock, a slice short of a loaf. He's got splinters in the windmills of his mind. A warped puck on the hockey game of life. A loser, a failure, and a short-sighted panty waist. And yet, in spite of all of his deficiencies, now he has inherited a $1 billion duchy. And oh well. Yeah, that poor William. You know, he lost his mother too. I just wish he wasn't so messy. You know what I mean? I wish he had more integrity. Happy birthday, Emerald Derek. I had no idea. Thank you for being here, or thank you for telling us. Happy birthday to Emerald Derek. Many happy returns of the day. Let me see here. Okay. All right, you guys, I am going to go. Yeah, he wants to be like Harry. He wants the love that Harry has. He's jealous of Harry. I don't doubt that he's jealous of him. He's in denial about his jealousy because he's going to inherit all of these things for no reason but showing up first. But other than that, he lacks charisma. He lacks ability. He tells a joke and it goes flat. He's not that smart. But that's Harry's brother. Harry loves him, and and I love Harry. I trust Harry. So if Harry loves him, he can't be all bad, I suppose. But gosh, it's hard to find any redeeming social value where he's concerned, that's for sure. That's a tough one. He's just such a nasty, cantankerous old man. And he's not even old, but he just looks old. He seems old. He's got that old people meanness about him. Awful person. Just very sad. Cruel. Hateful. Yeah. I don't get the point of the two of them. I really don't. I don't get them. I don't get the point of them. Not what's the Heart to Heart? Remember the show Heart to Heart? Jennifer Hart and what was the Wagner? What was his character? They're not exactly heart to heart. They're not Laura and Rob Petrie, are they? Not by a long shot. They're none of those people. They don't like anybody. They don't like each other. What good are they? What purpose do they serve? Oh, well. All right, you guys. I have vented enough with those two today and that institution. God bless Princess Diana for trying. Diana said people need to know that you love them. They need someone to touch them. And she touched a lot of people. She loved a lot of people. And, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but there's a documentary on YouTube of Diana going to visit people without the press. These are like videos that people made of her visit using their home video cameras, right? Diana promised that she would see someone when they got out the hospital. And the young man, I think he was unconscious, and Diana was at the hospital. And she told the young man's mom, she said, when this is over, I'll come and see you. And so she did. And when she got there, the neighbors and stuff were pouring out of the house and everything. It was just Diana and her royal protection officer. I don't know who recorded it, but the young man seemed puzzled and confused. And he even asked Diana, why did you come? Why me? And Diana told him, well, your mother was there at your side, and I talked to her and I made the promise, so here I am. Now, that's a beautiful thing. And people don't know that Diana was trying to be useful with the time that she had on her hands by reaching out to people. That was her life's work. That was her mission. And I can't help but think that Harry has taken up the mantle himself to do that work. And he just so happens to have partnered with someone for life that like-minded when it comes to helping people. And it's a beautiful thing. And we're just not going to let anybody destroy that. We're just not going to let that happen. You guys are cutting up right now, but that's fine. Look, just because I make fun of people, you all don't have to do it too. Oh man. Okay. So I'm gonna go, you guys, but thank you again for being here. And we already did Ginger Avenger, so I don't have to do that. And all right, now I'm gonna fade to black. Thank you, everyone. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Unless something really big happens, I'll see you guys tomorrow.